It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but we were able to get the Coyote Killer Mustang in the shop beside the drag truck chassis, and today we're going to be taking care of the 5 things that I hate the most about this body style of Mustang. Now, they're all cosmetic, as much as I hate to say it, because normally I don't do cosmetic stuff, but these things bug me, and even though they aren't going to improve the performance, it'll make it look better to me, which means I'm happy. There's also a few things that we need to take care of in terms of like a tune-up on the car. It's got the 462 valve in it. It's been developing this weird random misfire under load. Now, I don't really want to spend a whole lot of money on this 2 valve because we're working on another engine actually, which I do need to give you guys an update on, by the way. We have a 5.4 liter 4-cam that we're building. It's like a 01 Lincoln Navigator motor. We tore it all down. There's a bunch of trash and debris that got sucked up and pumped through the oiling system. And unfortunately, we are going to have the block overboard by 20 thousandths of an inch to get it to clean up. And the crank is also going to have to be machined undersized. Now, machining the crank, that doesn't bother me quite so much. It's a forged crank. They're pretty strong, and a couple of thousandths off there won't make a huge difference. But on the cylinder walls, because we're going to be turbocharging this thing and eventually going for, like 800 to 900 or maybe 1,000 horsepower, I wanted to leave as much thickness in the bores as I possibly could. And by oversizing it, in theory, we are going to lose a little bit of strength on the block. Probably won't be a big deal, but my 2 choices are either send it or try to find another fresh block that'll clean up at 0 oversize. So I'm not sure what I want to do there yet. I guess I'm thinking to do, and I'll give you guys another update whenever we make that decision. But basically, I'm at the point right now where I've got to order some pistons and rods and just pull the trigger on something. But anyway, today we're doing cosmetic stuff, so let's get the car tore apart, and then we'll work on the tune-up stuff kind of here and there. That's my favorite, when people break off connectors. Also my favorite is overspray. This car's like the worst paint job on it. And then now, I can at least reach the fender bolts on this side without going underneath the car. All right, thing 1 that I hate about the looks of the Mustang, this honeycomb grill. It's gotta go. And of course, you can't just leave a big empty hole in the grill, so we are putting one of these guys in its place. This, they call it a Mach 1, but the Cobras also had something similar. Fancy, smooth piece of plastic. Looks so much better. Now, you don't necessarily have to take the bumper off the car for thing I hate number 1, which is what we're taking care of now, but for thing I hate number 2, which is underneath the bumper, it's going to be a little bit easier just to have it off the car. For this, all you got is these little, like, push-on barb kind of clips. Just take a socket, kind of jam them on. So also part of this kit is the shiny horse, which actually mounts over on the car. Legend has it that the reason why Ford designed this horse to look like it was running is so the crowds would know that they need to run away. All right, next up over here, we get ourselves a lower air dam because the front of the car just looks too high. Now for this part I am going off book. Actually going to just reuse these metal fasteners that came from the original lower grill because they're a lot stronger. Just don't cut your finger off when that thing spins. So when they painted this car, they got a crap load of overspray, blue, where it doesn't belong. So I'm just gonna kind of hit that with black to kind of hide it, because some of it you can actually see through the front end. So all we're gonna do is just something real quick, kind of like this. Come down here, hide some of this. Like these brackets for the power steering cooler, I got a piece of paper in front of the condenser. Just kind of hit them real quick. Get rid of the blue. Insto presto, Mach 1. I don't like the OEM look. I've seen people actually build these out of plywood, believe it or not, and garden edging. Well, definitely gotta say I like it already, just getting rid of that honeycomb grill and putting the chin splitter on there. I like the contrast of the satin black against the blue. That was one of my favorite things about the Mach 1. Eventually I would probably paint like the rear spoiler, kind of that same satin black, just because I think it goes good together. But anyway, headlights are too shiny, so let's fix that. Like a million times better. Alright, the next item that I don't like on this car, this antenna. It sticks like a mile above the roof. Yeah, sure, it gets good radio reception, but it's gotta go. It's getting replaced with this. Boom, 15-second mod. So we got items 1 through 4 taken care of, and to be honest, like this transformed the front of the car. I know it seems like a pretty minor set of changes, but it's like the perfect combination of factory parts, and this is like my favorite front end on these, even more so than the 0304 Cobra, more than the 2000 Cobra R. Like this is kind of my favorite look. It's subtle and it doesn't really stick out, but it looks a whole lot better. You know, of course, we got rid of that honeycomb mesh. I can't stand that. Couldn't stand the shiny chrome in the headlights. And the cool thing about the chin splitter here is I never really liked how these stock bumpers they seem to go uphill and they give the car a weird profile from the side. But now the chin splitter kind of goes along the same plane, if you will, as the ground effects or whatever, as the rocker panel over there. So it kind of just, it makes the car appear to be a little bit lower. And of course, the blue and the black, I think they just go together really well. As far as the hood goes, you saw my little custom paint repair trick. This hood has been hit at some point and very, very badly repaired. Like the hood is gonna go probably when we put the 5.4 in here. I'd like to do one of those 2000 Cobra R style hoods that sit up a little bit higher. But yeah, that's kind of some more future stuff we got to do. In the antenna, that was just a simple, like, you know, simple upgrade because the stock antenna sticks up a mile. Everything that you just saw me put out is actually a kit from Late Model Restoration, just one part number. You know, you buy it, you get all those things. And like I said, I know it seems simple and inconsequential, but those little upgrades, they just make the car look, in my opinion, a whole lot better. So really excited about that. The last little cosmetic thing I want to take care of on the inside, the stock pedals are wore out. And since we're building this car kind of like I built the Copo truck, you know, a factory, you know, like factory parts bin type thing, we're putting these Ford racing pedals on. They just, you know, they look cool. They get these little grippy things on there and they're fairly inexpensive. So let's get the old ones pulled out, get the new ones swapped in, see if we can burn our fingers off. There we go. There we go. 2 down.
Does Mom know you're cooking?
So the new Ford Performance pedals will kind of wrap up the top 5 things that I hated the most about this particular Mustang at this particular time. And the next couple things that I want to take care of in the future, just in terms of cosmetics. Number 1, a couple of you guys have even commented about this, the steering wheel cover. That's just like a, obviously just a parts store replacement cover because the steering wheel underneath is pretty well tore up. I believe late model restoration has new wheels, so I'll probably get one of those at some point. And then the console cover. It's like a homemade, as you can tell by the corners, that's like a homemade console cover. So eventually we'll replace that. And I do like kind of the darker charcoaly black color. So I'll maybe like that in the steering wheel. Maybe we'll switch things over just to kind of darken it up in there somewhat. But anyway, time to move on and figure out why this thing is misfiring. It was kind of a load dependent misfire, and it's a random one, not specific to a particular cylinder. As far as DTCs go, these early Ford computers are pretty much useless for their misfire monitoring. Like if I got it just the right throttle position, I could make this thing like constantly misfire, and of course it didn't pop a single code. So I think it's something that's common to all. I'm doing a set of spark plugs real quick, but I don't think that's actually going to be the fix because I already put 2 in. Over here. I put 2 in and they don't even look that old. If the thing will focus, come on, here we go. They don't even look that old, but what the heck, I figured spark plugs are cheap enough, we'll throw the whole set in. I am also going to clean the mass airflow sensor because the car did have a K&N air filter on it. And these use like an oil which can actually foul out the mass airflow meter. Again, I don't know if that's actually going to be the fix. I'm kind of leaning towards the coils themselves being the cause of the problem. I remember on my last Mustang, I eventually had to replace all the coils because they would just do some weird funny stuff. But anyway, it can't hurt to do a couple of quick tune-up items. So let's get to it. So I actually learned something new the other day. I had always been taught growing up to use anti-seize like on the threads of spark plugs and stuff, but apparently it can cause conductivity issues between the spark plug and the cylinder head, which is an issue because that's how the ground circuit is made. I can't say that I've ever actually had any issues because of that, and I've put anti-seize on dozens and dozens of spark plugs, but apparently it's an issue, so we won't be doing that again. So in case you're unfamiliar with a 2-valve mod motor, right up along the top edge here, fairly easy to access, ignition coil, injector, coil injector, and so on. So yeah, everything's pretty easy to access, and the great thing about this, unlike an LS or something like that, is you're never going to burn a plug boot because, well, it's all down inside the cylinder head. Great design, Ford. helps we did fix the misfire, actually, because before it was just kind of that like transition between like easy cruising throttle and then like a little bit of acceleration that would cause it to miss, and it was like bad. It sounded like an old 2-cylinder John Deere farm tractor, you know, those old ba, 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 ba. But yeah, I don't know, I think at least for now anyway, I'm gonna call that fixed, and the car looks a whole lot better, so win-win-win. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. This I like this old car. I know these Mustangs, they're not everybody's favorite body style, but I like them. I like them a lot. They were kind of, you know, what was new when I was in high school. My buddy Mason had one a little bit after we graduated. They're just cool, fun cars, and you know, I know it's not the fastest thing on the planet right now. I mean, 260 horsepower, but the motor that we have planned for this thing, I think you guys are going to like it a lot. So thank you for watching. Come back soon for more cool truck content. I think next time we're working on the trying to get the big block into the frame of our drag truck. So come back soon, guys.